hear your way up there. I am talking today about something I really am happy I got, and it's amazing. This is it. Can you see that? Huge 30 millimeter. Wow. Retro looking? I think so. From Deluxe Shaving. Yes, that's the Silvertip Badger 30 millimeter knot from Deluxe Shaving Company. I love this brush. That's my now favorite. I swear it's my new favorite. And the size is perfect for my hands. Look at that. I have big hands and that fits wonderfully. Well, as you probably have noticed, that doesn't look like a 30 millimeter knot, does it? No, but it is. Now, the reason it doesn't look like it is because this brush has just arrived. It has not met water yet. That's right. In fact, they tightly pack this knot. That's what Deluxe Shaving Company guys say on their website, that this knot was tightly packed, which is obvious. But when it's broken in, it should bloom out into a beautiful, huge fan shape. And that's what I can't wait to see. Going to be fantastic. I guarantee it. This is made of a two-piece of turned resin. Right there and there. Two pieces. And it looks very chic, retro, as I said earlier. The size on this, like I said, 30 millimeter knot, but the loft is 64 millimeters, and the overall height from here to here, 120 millimeters. So it should be a very beautiful addition to anybody's shaved in after it's broken in, of course. I mean, even still, right now, it looks perfect, right? Well, you just wait. A couple of days from now, it's going to be beautiful, I promise you. Now, I'm not speaking from experience, as this is the very first 30 millimeter knot that I've ever owned. So I'm not really speaking from experience, but they say that this particular size knot requires a ton of soap. And if you improperly load it, then you probably will be upset with yourself. The reason being is it's, like I said, going to require a lot of soap to use. The good news is, if sufficient amounts of soap is used while, loading it up, if you use the proper amount, then you're going to be rewarded, they say, with a wonderful lathering experience. You have to give it the proper time, of course. In fact, they say that lathering time is 2 to 3 times longer than what is typical for loading. So I'm going to spend a lot more time loading this brush when I use it, just to make sure that it's loaded full of soap. Now, I guess the bad, well, not really the bad thing, but on the other hand, if you don't spend the proper time loading it, this big brush, they say, will result in all the soap that you have loaded it with, even though it's insufficient and not completely loaded, will go into the core. It will just draw into the core, and most of the lather will go inside, leaving very little at the tip. So you do have to load it properly, and you will be rewarded if you do, right? Okay, what we're going to do right now is we're going to prepare this brush and get it ready. First, I want to get the water going and heat up the water a little bit. Tepid, that's the way they describe it. Lukewarm, perhaps, just warm. You don't want any scalding, boiling hot water on a brush, especially a new one. But you can cause, you know, some of the glue to separate inside if you do that. So you will be smart to pay attention to what I'm saying, okay? All right. Let me check this. That's a little warm. Just, I don't want it quite that hot. A little too warm. Boy, I love this vintage looking brush. Feels nice too. Colors that they chose for this, the combination of colors, that teal and black, they say that was a tribute to the classic colors of the 1950s. Yeah, I like it. Okay, that water is just about right. Okay, first off, we have to soak this for about 5 to 10 minutes in warm water. So I will go ahead and get me a bowl and be right back. Welcome back. The water filling up. That should be it right there. That's more than plenty. Pour out just a bit. Here's the brush. We are just going to immerse it tip down. At this level, it doesn't really sink up into the core of the handle. That way you don't have to worry about the glue getting heated. But I don't have the water that hot. It's just lukewarm or a little above room temperature. Okay? Anyway, never boiling, so keep that in mind. And we're going to allow that to soak just a little bit, because I want to get this brush ready to go and prepared, okay? After this brush has soaked up a little water, then it's going to be ready to be washed. All right, gonna squeeze it out. This would be the same process you would go through when loading the brush. You would wet it and soak it like that for about 5 to 10 minutes beforehand. Then wring out some of the water and then proceed to load your brush. That's the loading process they suggest, okay? All right, we're supposed to use Dawn dishwashing liquid, or the option of using something equivalent like antibacterial hand soap. Now since, wow, have you ever smelled Silvertip Badger hair? That's what it smells like a wild Silvertip Badger. I'm serious. And that's what it is, obviously. So what we're going to do is we are going to load this Jessie up with some antibacterial soap first. Just coat it up. Okay. And we're going to use Dawn. We're using both. Take my word, I will be glad I did. You have to get rid of that old wet animal scent. Whew, it's rough too. All right. Right now, all I'm doing is just washing it out just a little bit. You have to do this for the very first time you use a Silvertip Badger. If you don't, then you will have a stinky brush. And this is normal, of course. That's just how it is. When you have Silvertip Badger brushes, you have to prepare the brush ahead of time, or you'll always notice that stinky animal or stinky wet animal odor. And you don't want that on your face, right? Plus, this will also remove dust particles or any loose hairs that could have come undone in shipping. And no, this is not all. It's going to take a little more than this. I'm just right now getting the soap and working the soap down and deep into the core of the bristles. And you can do the same thing. Quite simple to do. And then, I believe that should be plenty right there. Just a little more here. Coat it a little bit, work it back in, and that should be plenty. Now what I'm going to do is immerse that back into the water and let that soak. They suggest 1 to 2 hours. So, you know, I'll go at least 2 hours at least. That's what I'm going for. So what I will do is I'll check back with you in about 2 hours, okay? Thanks. Okay, it's only been about 45 minutes, and I wanted to show you something. This is what has happened after not paying attention to my brush. It's gotten heavy, I guess, and upturned on me. So now if you will even compare the size of that knot, can you believe that huge knot? So what I'm going to do is I figured out a way to keep the tips straight down. I have got a rubber band over the handle back here. See there? Just put a rubber band on it. I'm going to stick an ink pen there to keep it from slipping off the handle. And then just stretch the rubber band across to the other side. Right over the spout there. Balance that so that it will work. There you have it. That way it keeps the tips of the brush immersed in the water and doesn't allow it to upturn like it did. You don't want to sit and have to hold it for an hour or two by hand, so this will work for me. Maybe you can devise your own little gadget, okay? I'll be back at the end of the 2-hour wait. Thanks for watching. Okay, it's been 2 hours. I now have my bowl sitting with the brush upside down, and over here a couple of soaps. Katie's Bubbles, and then of course Taylor of Old Bond Street. The reason I chose these, they're both soft soaps, but number 2 is the fact that they are very fragrant. This is the Boucles Fruité, or Fruit Loops, as you can see. And this one is the Sandalwood from Taylor of Old Bond Street. I'm going to be using 2 different soaps on this brush, believe it or not. Now, here we go. I had to, if you'll notice, rig up this rubber band across the top of the bowl from the spout to the handle. That's why. Because the brush is so heavy, it turns upside down. But we will remove the rubber band and look at the size of this huge knot. I'm serious, it's like quadrupled. Okay. Whew. Believe it or not, it doesn't smell at all like it did. First thing you have to do is get your water back at the same temperature or approximate, somewhere lukewarm, a little bit above what you would consider room temperature. You don't want it really too hot. I mean, it can be hot, but not so much it's going to burn you or loosen the glue. You don't want that happening. So the first thing you do is you thoroughly rinse all of the soap out of the knot. It will take a little while to do this. You can't just stick it under there and it be clean, because the center core absorbs so much, as I was telling you earlier about loading it and what they suggest. So I keep filling it up with water and wringing it back out. That's a huge knot, but it's going to give me many great shaves, I promise you, and they won't smell like a wet animal. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Look, that's amazing. That is beautiful. And just pick off any of the loose hairs that you may have soon discovered after doing all that. Because that's what the treatment process is for. Not only does it get away the stinky, wet Silvertip Badger smell, it also helps remove the loose bristles, okay? Man, I'm so thrilled about this brush. I really am. Just making sure I get any of the loose hairs off the top. And of course, the next few times, it may still lose a couple of hairs here and there, but probably not quite as bad as you would think. Okay, first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Katie's Bubbles and I'm going to just dig out a copious amount, something like that, maybe a little more. You don't need to skimp on doing this, okay, this process. This is one of my favorite smelling scents, and that's why I'm using it, number one. Number two, it's a soft soap and easily applied, and that's what I'm doing right now. Just coating the inside of my bowl with Katie's Bubbles. Now, Taylor of Old Bond Street, sandalwood, of course, being my favorite scent of all times, and I am running low on TOBS. So I figured, what the heck, we'll go ahead and do what we can. So after wringing it out, I'm just going to fill it back up with water and do as they say, just a light squeeze, nothing major. You still have to have some water inside the brush to load it, of course. Just twirling it around, getting the tips coated. This process right here is going to make sure the brush doesn't smell bad. Of course, soaking it in Dawn dishwashing liquid and of course antibacterial soap, hand soap, will help as well, but it won't complete the job. It really won't. So I have now done that, loaded up, and I'm going to mix the two. Oh no, yes, I'm going to mix two soaps. I'm going to have to add a little water now. Boy, it's almost, almost, but not quite. It's almost making me want to put on a layer. But no, this is for other purposes. Yeah. Getting the water the right temperature. That's an amazing amount of lather. Gosh. But we want that. We want that. And we want all of the soap that we can get to be worked deep down inside the core. So that's what I'm doing now, is working it down into the bristles. From the base of the bristles right there. Working, sorry about the lighting, it sucks, I know. At the base, working it all the way up through the tip. spinning it around, just rotating it. And you're probably saying, now what? What are you going to do now? Well, I'm going to rinse my hands. And then I'm going to the pantry, and I'm going to get a quart-size Ziploc baggie. Oh, you're reading my mind now. Okay, there it is. Nice freezer baggie. The only reason I wanted this because it's a little heavily made or heavy duty, and that way it will seal, and that's what I'm wanting. I'm wanting a seal that will completely lock in the scent of the soap. So here we have it. I'm going to just stir in a little bit more just to get it going. Make sure it's coated on the outside as well as the inside. Make it look just like a good old popsicle. What do you think of that, guys? Look. Yeah, it's got a few bristles loose now. They're coming out. The part that needs to come out, that will stop. I promise you. Okay, I'm going to stick it right in the bag. And then I'm going to roll it over and get the air out before I burp it and seal it. Okay? Make sure it's sealed though. It really is important. And now I've got soap all over the bag, and I'm going to just rinse it off. But that's inside there, perfect, the way I want it. I'll dry that with a paper towel in a minute and be ready to go. And we will allow that to sit for 24 to 48 hours. It depends upon the person, the individual using the brush, and if you really have a strong odor. If it's really strong, then if you come back in one day, 24-hour period, then you check it and it still smells like wet badger, then go ahead and repeat the process as necessary, okay? I will be back, and I'll see you guys in 24 hours, maybe 48, who knows? Take care. Hello, it's day number 24 hours later, day number 1. I was going to wait 2 entire days, but no. I'm ready to set the badger free. Luckily, it smells good. A major cleaning process has to be done when you want your badger hair to not smell like an old dead wet badger. So now, after soaking 24 hours, actually, to be precise, it's been about 32. I am now thoroughly rinsing out the soap with some tepid water. It's not scalding hot, it's just a little bit above room temperature. That way I can run my fingers through it as I'm massaging someone's hair on their scalp. And that way I'm working out all of the excess lather that was embedded in the core of this Silvertip Badger brush. The purpose is to make sure all of the soap is out. Then I'm going to let it dry. Alright, this should be enough right here. Just going to dump out the rest and just sling a little bit out of the bristle. Get the towel handy And I like to do it like this, sideways, all around. And then sling it some more. I have actually lost probably the majority of badger hairs that I will ever have to worry about. I mean, I may lose a couple here and there over the next few days, but they are going to be at a minimum in comparison to the amount that probably would have fallen out otherwise. So it's a twofold purpose of cleaning out your badger hair. Now, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to plug in the hairdryer. Now, make sure that you don't have your hairdryer on the hot setting. Make sure it's on low heat. Speed of the fan can be high. That's okay. Look at that. You can even run it through and it won't hurt it because it's on low heat. I hope you can hear me. Wow. This thing is huge. Oh wow, that is awesome. Huge. It's a huge, whoa, sorry. It's a huge brush. And I love it. But that's a 30mm knot. Can you believe the fan? It has just like quadrupled in size. You will want to maintain with something like this if you have it. If not, then don't worry about it. I mean, you can pick one of these up. It's called a pick at Walmart or whatever. And just pick it like some of your Afro-American friends used to do years ago with an Afro pick. Same thing, same principle. All I'm doing is getting rid of the excess hairs that were probably going to fall out on my next, or first rather, shave. That way we go ahead and free them. And I'm not picking it harsh. You've got to be careful. You just want to run it through. You can even brush it or comb it if you want. I mean, see that? Does a great job allowing the the bristles rather, to separate. And that's what you're wanting. You're wanting to separate the bristles from themselves where they may have stuck together because of either soap or moisture in the water. So that's all I'm doing right now, to more or less just separate the bristles and to get out any loose hairs that may be getting ready to come out in the next shave or so. But that is a small, I say a small amount of hairs. Overall, I guess it would be considered quite a few hairs. But after you take into consideration the size of this knot, then you know that it's not that many hairs. All right. First test. Still a little bit damp, and it smells like soap. And you can detect just a small hint if you really double sniff and go like a dog. You can just get a small hint of the smell that was there before. If you know what it smells like, then you know what you're looking for. But this thing is perfect now. I'm not going to worry with it. It is ready to go. It is ready to start. Wow, and look at that. This thing has an amazing amount of backbone. Look at that. I can't believe it, just to be so huge. And of course, after it gets wet again, it will, go back down in size. but this is the first 30mm knot Silvertip Badger brush I've ever owned. Your vintage retro colors, teal and black, from Deluxe Shaving Company. Sweet brush. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope I've been helpful in some way, manner, shape, form, or fashion. You take care and take care of one another, okay? Peace.